Hey, what's up, T? How you doing? All right. Um, was on the phone yesterday with a young model master, and he was explaining some of the stuff. We were just sitting there talking about some stuff that he was going through and whatnot. A good little conversation I had with him yesterday. Um, Guys, we all face a certain aspect in our life that is uncontrollable. And with little James, the young model master, he was born with a health issue that he has to deal with every day. Upon just going to school, doing what teenagers do, trying to get a job, trying to, he's in the process of building his own real Ford pickup truck. What was really fun is he said he bought a pickup truck that darn near is the little twin to his dad's truck, which was cool. But upon doing that story, James had made a comment. He watches me and Sheldon do resin, pour the resin. He bought some resin, and he bought a little kit. And in the process of doing this kit, he's come to some issues. So I went to show him that here's a piece of resin. He said that he poured some resin and it stayed sticky and soft. Like this piece here, I'll squeeze it together like this. And then when I come back out, you guys will watch it. It'll come back out and take its shape. Hello, Matt. What's up, Jays? Now, I try to explain to James the process of this coming out is because it didn't get mixed thoroughly. It got mixed enough to have a chemical reaction, but it didn't get mixed enough. And he'd made the comment that on the measurements, well, we're using aluminolite resin. I know a couple other people use Bond and some other stuff, but today we're using the aluminolite resin, part A and part B. And when it says 1-to-1 mix, it means like you have a measuring cup here. Let me get a clean one. You got a measuring cup here. So what I do, instead of filling up the whole cup, like say, the cup's 30 cc, instead of putting in 15 of part A and 15 of part B and then stirring it up, it's going to react quicker than you can actually get a good casting. So I was trying to show James that I start right here, as usually you do it little. It's better to have more of these. It's better to have more dirty cups than it would be parts you can't use. So I mixed up a bunch of resin, and I try to pour it real quick to show James yesterday on the reactions. If you can't pour your resin and chase out the air bubbles, you get stuff like this. You'll get air bubbles there, and then there's air bubbles there, because by the time you can see where I cleaned up these two, and they're perfect. This one right here, I had time to clean it up, and it looks okay. But then the chemical reaction started to cure, and you didn't have time to chase these air bubbles. You can see how they continually get worse, as it's drying, and you don't get a chance to attack all the air bubbles. So it's not about how much you can pour at once. It's about how clean the cast. Because if you're spending $20 on this resin, you kind of want to get your best thing from it. Now, I don't sell this stuff, guys, for profit. Sheldon has his own line of stuff that you guys can buy from Extreme Scale Detail. But these carburetors I have here, let me see, get back in focus. They're the Barry Grants from ProTech. And this one here don't have a price tag on it, but they usually go for $2.50 a piece. Now that's the original, and here's my copy. It's not dead on because I don't have a pressure pot. I do these right on the bench. But this is what this one here is, and it's the Barry Grant. So you guys can get this from ProTech. You can also get this from Extreme Scale Detail. Morning, Gil. Morning, Dustin. I got my tablet on the left side of me, and I'm trying to work this out. So what I did real quick is I went to show James how, if we pour it quick, you get more stuff casted, but you can't get it clean. And you end up with air bubbles like this. Now, I've seen sellers on eBay, and I don't know why people buy the stuff, but I've seen sellers on eBay where they say it needs a little bit of cleanup, and then you get, you're getting a carburetor like this, it's actually missing parts of the carburetor. If you just slow down and take your time, you can see how, it's not an exact copy, because I don't use a pressure pot, but it's pretty darn close. And, here's one that I done and painted up. Here's a resin copy that I did, and it got painted up. And you can tell, it cleans up really well, especially if you're down on the motor, it'll be alright. I don't know, that ventricle there slid. I put photo etch on the top of that one. It looks like it slid. But they clean up well enough for me, but it's actually this carburetor here that you can go and redo. There's a lot of resin companies out there that you can buy from and search from, so check those out. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to try to basically show you guys that try to cast your own parts, the way I do it and how I would go about doing it. This is to help young Model Master and a few other guys that try to buy the Alumilite little kit and try to cast your own parts. What I do is I don't really create none of my parts, unlike Sheldon over there at the Outlaw Speed Shop. He's actually creating stuff and then casting it. A lot of stuff I reproduce the stuff that I've purchased, and I redo it so that way I can use more often. And that's why you guys never see me show stuff for sale or what have you. I've shared some of this stuff with a few of you guys. I don't mind doing that. I don't mind doing some trades or whatnot, but I will not sell the stuff that I copy, just because you guys can already go buy a cleaner, more precise piece from, let's say, CVG Resin, Sheldon, ProTech, right here. But like I said, at $2.50 a piece, and I love these carburetors. You've seen them on a lot of my builds. I bought a handful. Every time my hobby shop would have them, they'd only get 2 in at a time, so I was buying them every time they had some, whether I needed them or not, because it took a while for them to get them in from ProTech. So that's why I choose to do that. The best place to get steering wheels, Jay, is Model Car Garage and Detail Master both have a photo etch steering wheels. There's also resin companies out there that can make some steering wheels. Depending upon what steering wheel you're looking at. The steering wheels I make is I took the centers out of the Model Car Garage photo etch, and then I put a jewelry loop around them, which would be, if you want to make a charm or a necklace, then I glued them down to plastic, and then I recopied those. Here's the mold. Where is that mold? I just had that mold out too. At least I thought I did. Jay, I don't know what I did with it. Oh, here it is. Now here's the mold I had for my steering wheels. This right here was from Detail Junkies. It's supposed to be for the Nardi. A lot of lowrider guys were using Nardis back in the day. And then it's these other styles. Now, when you have something small and thin like this, it is going to be a hard edge on one side, but you don't mix up a whole lot of resin. When I use this mold here, I try to use my leftover resin. So what I'll do is I'll show you. I'm actually using this polyester parafilm for my mold release, but you can use cooking oil. Just brush it on, take you an old brush, set it down in there, and you can brush it on. You can use Vaseline, or you can use baby powder, but you don't really want to use a whole lot of anything that's going to create a void in here where you're going. So I'll spray that real quick. Just a real nice quick little spray on that. Let's see, what else do I want to get? So, valve covers. Now, here are some valve covers that I've done. They're big block 572s. They're Milden, I think, right there, and then just another big block valve cover. Now, you can, like I was saying, this right here is because it didn't get mixed all the way. And I could totally squeeze this down, and then it will always come back to its shape. It got the reaction, the chemical reaction, to start to dry, but it didn't get mixed enough to secure it. Like, you know, a piece of resin here, you're not going to squeeze that piece of resin because it did good and dried good. This right here is what's called a slush cast. Instead of pouring the whole thing full and having a big block of resin, you just pour resin into your mold, and then you move it around and you get a slush cast. This right here is going to be for a garage scene, and what we're going to do is put some watch gears in there to make it look like the transmission was bad, and we pulled it out, and now it's going to set on the floor, and that way you'll be able to see the internals of it. That was the purpose of doing a slush cast on that. But here's usually what I do. I'm going to, on these valve covers here, I'm going to fill it up to I'm going to pull up to 2.5 cc on part A, and then all the way to part B is going to go to the 5. And then instead of mixing the whole thing and trying to fill up this whole mold, we're just going to do a little at a time, and that gives you the time to chase your air bubbles. And then I always mix it. And then when you mix it, I'm trying to get you guys here in the screen. And when you mix it, you just stir it. Make sure you hit all the sides. I usually do this for about a minute. That way you know you make sure you got it. Now, it don't look like there's a whole lot of resin there. You know, it's just 5 cc's of resin. You see, there's not a whole lot of resin there at all, guys. And then what I do is I get my mold down here, and instead of just pouring it straight in, I use this, like, then right there, it kind of like layers it in. Can you guys see that dripping in there? And right there also helps to eliminate the air bubbles, instead of just pouring it in. Alright, and then what I do is I always skim it to give it a flat, even layer right there. I'll skim it, and then I take this back in there like that, because you want to be able to reuse this. And then I take a toothpick, and I just go back in there and I trim the rings, and I try to get all the walls. And see, if you did that, if you try to do it all at once and do that, by the time you come back to get these, see, you can tell it's already starting to set. Because look, now it barely drops. And you can tell right now, and you can see the cloudiness coming up in that one right there. That's it starting to cure. Yeah, Jay, the reason why you want to go a little at a time, that way you have control over it and you don't want to lose it. And since these steering wheels here are so small and so thin, once this right here starts to tack up like this, then I just come in here and I basically paste it in there. Instead of trying to pour it, I'll paste it in there. That way I try to have no product go to waste. So what I'll do is I'll paste that in there. You still got to chase air bubbles, but what you're doing, instead of pouring it in there, you're actually pushing it in there. And then really you don't lose a whole lot of product. You can even take this up off your sheet if you needed to. And that's how I do the steering wheels. Now, I'll still go over that. And the one thing about resin will melt back into resin. So, what I'll do is I'll just give me a little skim coat like that. And basically, I've emptied this cup. And then you guys can watch it. I can't pick it up or it'll move. But I'll show you, you can watch it curing. See if you guys can get that. You can watch it cure, and once you start seeing all that cloudiness coming in, that's it curing. And now you can speed this process up with the heat lamp, if you guys had a heat lamp. Hey, what's up, George? Guys, there's George from Vision 124 is here. Let's wish him lots of luck as he gets ready they're doing a big show, the Diversified Scaler Show. Give you a little bit of, now it's going, if you guys attend the NNL East in Wayne, New Jersey, this year, Diversified Scalers, they're actually will be in the same building this year. The show went from a little show up to a very big venue, getting bigger each year. So if you guys are up in there around September, go over there and check out George. The themes this year are going to be luxury vehicles. And then the sub-theme is going to be rotary engines. And that's pretty good because Vervelle just re-released the Datsun with the little rotary motor. So, you guys can go and pick that up. Looks like we got Bill from the Bobblehead Customs here. Bobblehead Scale Rod Shop, not Customs, I'm sorry. Yeah. And as you guys can see, now you can see how the product is curing. Now, see how quick that happened. So if I was to make a large amount of resin and then try to do that, you wouldn't have time to chase your air bubbles. Now, I'm just going to let that set here. And even when I do a big motor, like this right here is a big motor, usually you want to give yourself time to do it. So, I'll move that. Now that it's starting to cure, I can pick it up and move it. But before it starts curing, you guys don't want to touch it. Now, even on that, the same thing on this is,
I know how to make it. Tell me. Give me a picture.
on this one here, I'm going to do 5cc and 5cc. You don't need to fill that whole cup up, because most of the time you end up wasting more than you use. And we'll mix that up. Get that back down in the, come on. Trying to get the picture back down, guys. Okay, there it goes. Morning, Jay. We got Jay Henning here. Dustin from Interland Custom is here. Guys, go check out some of Dustin's videos. Dustin's been doing some neat stuff. Go there and check them out. He went to the Salt Lake City GSL, which is a pretty big show. They only do it once every 2 years. And he got the honors to go to the Model Car Museum, which is kick, man. So like you see, just this little bit amount of resin. You know, there ain't a whole lot in there.
Because I know though he's an update. Because he poisoned him once you get hit by him. What? What are you doing? You're messing it up. That's not how you make it.
And like I said, I always skim it. And then we'll take the rest and we'll put it back here on these steering wheels.
That's not how you do it. Go to sleep.
Alright, now,
Get my cat first.
hey guys, you guys gotta be quiet.
So,
Go in there and you chase out all the air bubbles.
giant baby, please. Kitties. And the chest. And I'm going to put this in it. Because it's just kind of another. Get it back up here, kitties! You just...
If you guys hadn't noticed, the kids are home for summer school. Now, as you guys can see, it's starting to cure. And that's why I said if we poured the whole cup and tried to do all this at once, it would have cured before I was able to get the air bubbles out of the rest of this. But, like I'm going to show you right now, you can always go right back into what is curing. Because it will melt back into itself. Good morning, Monty. Mark from Sprue Surgeon. If you guys haven't checked out Mark from Sprue Surgeon yet, go check him out. He is from the UK, but he does some good product reviews, and he's a great friend. I just, you know, nice to sit down and talk to and to follow. The dental resin to cast small parts. Jay, you're going to have to email me. I would love to find some of that dental stuff. Mark, I'm using a Lumalite. I'm using Lumalite extra strength mold for the mold. And then I'm using a Lumalite resin. You can buy the products that I'm using right now. You can buy them online, or I get mine at Hobby Lobby. The mold is $29.99, and the resin is also $29.99. But if you use your 40% off coupon, it puts both at right about $19 a piece, you know. And you can't beat that. The motor I'm casting now, that you guys see me casting now, it's a product of CVG resin. It is his big block 939. When I had gotten it, one of the heads was shallow, and one of the valve covers was I sanded it down too far, so it was my fault. And at $18 a motor, I didn't want it to go to waste and look foul, so I recopied it with the good products, and then I made me a mold for it. Like I said, nothing against you guys. I choose not to sell none of this stuff. You guys can go to CVG Resin on Facebook and pick this up if you guys want. You can go to Extreme Scale Detail. I believe Lisa has some of the motors. She might not have all the motors in stock, but some of the motors of CVG Resin will be in stock. I copied this because I needed a part, and because I wanted more of these motors, if I'm being honest. But I do not sell these. You guys will not see me offer these. It's something just for myself. And I don't believe in taking someone's livelihood and profiting it for myself. I'm already guilty of copying Craig's model, Craig's casting, so I don't want to jeopardize it any further by, undercutting Manny over there at CVG Resin, or, something like that. So this is something that I had actually casted to fix a part, and I just make me a motor when I need it now. And that's why you guys, we have outlets. You have Outlaw Resin that has, items you guys can purchase and stuff. So I'm just showing you guys how I cast. And like I said, I started this video out this morning because of my conversation with James yesterday. See, here's the resin. Let me get this off. Gilbert asked what was I using. I do not have the box of mold, so I can't tell you guys what mold it actually is. But Alumalite makes two different molds. They make a regular mold, and then they make a super strength mold. And I use a super strength mold, and the resin is just their 2-part resin. See if you guys can see that. Now let's demold these, and I'll show you guys. Once, you don't want to let them set in your mold too long, because it can damage the mold. It can distort it. So what you do is you wait, and then you let it cure in the air. Now here's the copy of my Milodon. And you can see, if you have time to chase out the air bubbles, are clean. See if you can't get that in there. They're clean. You can see the words.
You wonder why I'm changing survival mode again.
And they're still a little soft at this point. But you can see, if you give yourself the time to cast smaller pieces, you get cleaner. You get a cleaner cast. There's no air bubbles. You can see the scriptures. You can see the oil, where you're supposed to put your oil cap. And now you guys can tell how it's curing. It changes colors as it's curing. And then right here's the motor. And then you guys can see I've casted just those few things. That's a pretty decent motor. And, you haven't used too much resin yet, compared upon where we started. So it's a R3 casting resin. I guess that's what Gilbert was looking for. Thanks, George. George made the comment that it's a great technique. Instead of pouring the whole thing, allow you to chase the air bubbles. Thanks, George. Alright, that'd work, Jay. Jay, it's not hard to make the molds. The one thing about Aluminite molds, though, it's 10 to 1. So if you don't have a good measuring system, like a set of measuring cups that you really use or something, it's really, here's the activator for the high strength catalyst, and it'll tell you it's 10 to 1. So you want 10 parts of the mold to 1 part of this activator. And what I usually do is I get me a system set up, so that way I can make a big mold at once, like this, or like you seen that motor part right there. And then I'll fill this up to 150 with the mold, and then I get this right here to 15 cc, because you can see right here where it says cc right here. See if you can pull that up. Where that there says cc, I put 15 of the activator in here, and I put 150 of the mold here, because this right here is also in cc. And then that's how I mix it up. That's how I keep my weight.
And 3, how did vines get on my house? Because the grass is growing. Right?
Yeah, no problem, Gilbert. Gilbert, you know, if you need any help, if there's anything you need, contact me either through Facebook, or we can jump on a hangout or something. I'll be able to help you through it. It is very easy. It's very easy to mess up. Just in that little short time of talking with you guys, this motor here it's going to be soft, but the deeper the resin, the hotter it gets. So as it's curing, so you kind of want to get that out within a decent amount of time. And then if you use your mold release right, and you keep your mold release clean, your mold is clean here, and then here's the parts that we casted. You can see how nice and clean and all that is. And it's just about taking your time and being able to chase your air bubbles, to keep everything nice and clean. Let's see. Now the steering wheels being thin, I kind of let them set in there just a little bit longer. So let's pull the steering wheels. And you know what I forgot to do, guys? I forgot to chase the air bubbles. I was sitting there. And this is what happens when you don't chase the air bubbles. You can see how I get all the detail, but it got an air bubble right there because I was moving faster on this one trying to read. But these 4 here, you can see how clean they are. And then it's right here is the last 4 that I put in there. And it's basically something like that, guys. I hope you guys found this useful. I hope you guys found this interesting. Here's one of the CVG resins that I actually duplicated, and it's built. I had to change the oil pan right here and mess with the transmission a little bit for the vehicle that I'm putting this in. But I mainly did it to correct it, and it is a good casting. CVG resin offers quite a bit of different motors, wheels, tires. He has a full line of resin, a full line of aluminum stuff. Here's a Nissan motor that I've copied to go into a few. I've got a few Sunnies coming, and we're going to do one of them with the late model Nissan motor in it for scaledworld.net. So we're going to do that. I've been working my tail off. I'm getting myself some Pro chargers done. And I've been really, these right here have been one of the hardest things I've had to do. I've got another turbo coming that we're going to try to work on. But I got these here. They're just, I think they're so little that I'm losing the detail on them, but these right here are two that I got that look fairly decent. I've seen some very, very bad castings coming off of eBay, and people are paying like $20 for turbos. So I tried to get some good castings out of stuff, so I'm trying. And like I said, it's just to help me. About once a year, I pull my stuff out and I try to stock up on things that I know I'll need and use. Here's some transmissions. Here's the turbos and the Pro Charger again. Just some intercoolers that I've made up. And then, you know, from regular Revell drag kits, I've been getting into following Sheldon and following Full Throttle and them guys, Chevy Cheeseburger, and some of the builds that those guys like to do. Get me a Lenko out of the Revell kit, a firewall and engine mount, some fuel cells, and just, you know, some little small add-in stuff to add in to that, you know, what I'll have you. Jay asked, the biggest piece that I've ever cast. I'm lucky enough, before Ryan Happy passed away, I have his original big body Cadillac molds. And I was able to pour myself some Cadillac molds, it's a full-blown body. That was the biggest thing I've ever casted.
Did you put it down? Did you make it? No, not yet.
Yeah, good luck. That VW is looking good. If you guys want to see an interesting paint job, Gilbert over there at Red Dragon Model Works, go over to Facebook and you can look at the Styrene Syndicate page, and you can go look at Red Dragon Model Works page on Facebook. Gilbert put one crazy cracking faded, really, really nice looking paint job. I can't wait to see that in clear. And Jay, if you see this right here, like something like this here, I put tape down. I'll put tape down on, let me see, I'll show you a mock-up real quick. Say your pieces that you're going to cast, you want to make your mold at least half as tall as your part, so that way you get a good thickness. You got room to, you know, if you can see these molds here, they're nice and thick. I can twist them, turn them, and get the part out. But what I do is I put tape all down on the bottom, and then I glue my piece that I want to copy on the tape, and I'll roll the tape over like let me see. Like I'll do this. I'll take this piece here out like this. I'll lay it down in the tray, like I'll cover the whole tray. And then I lay the tape over the side like this, and it does two things. It helps me when I'm done. It comes like this, I can pull up, and it helps get the mold out of the box without tearing up my piece. Plus, my piece ain't fixed to plastic, it's fixed to tape. And when I can pull it off the paper, what paper sticks to the master, I could just sand down real quick without damaging my piece. And then right here is, I use this box here, and then I'll pour it. And then right there always has the hard shape in my mold. See what I'm saying? It's going to have a good shape. It has a good level. I have room to work. I have a nice edge. Using this lid, I ain't got to worry about seams where it's going to leak out or whatnot. And then, like I said with the tape, once everything was done, molded and everything, you can pull the tape. And like you said, you're going to have this whole thing taped anyway, all the way down the side. You just pull it, and it comes up like this. And when it comes up, your part will be in the mold, so that way you're not ripping the mold. You come back in here, and then you pull the let me see that. Once you pull that, and then your parts are still going to be in the mold, you can slowly come out like this, and then you can pull your part out of the mold without damaging your fresh mold, and then you just pull it off this paper. I hope that helps you, Jay. And like you said, you can see I made, there's that mold. Here's this mold. I made all kinds of, I've made all kinds of molds. So, it's just, I cast, like I was trying to tell young Model Master, you don't want to cast everything you come across, because some things will only have a specific need. So, there'd be no sense in me taking this Mustang cow hood, taking it off, setting it here, and casting it, because it would only be good for the Mustang. Or you'd have to cut it up and get the hood scoop and all that, and cut it off and graft it onto another car. But with all that work, then I would just cut up this one hood and make me the hood scoop off of it. So that's about right there.
My guy's sleeping. No, you place them now. Oh yeah. It's like straight.
Yeah. Well, I have a few different boxes for different, like, there's some things you don't want so big. So, like, these are little molds here. I got mufflers, I got a cooling can, I got master cylinders here, I got a brake booster there, there's a tack. Here's some remote oil pumps, remote fuel sending units. These right here are oil coolers, and these right here will be coil packs. And, I didn't want to build a big mold of it, so I use a slide out drawer. Do the same thing, you do the same thing with the tape, and then your mold will come right out, and you have this right here as the mold keep. The more the carburetors I was showing you that I've copied from ProTech. Brakes. These are Pegasus brakes. I really love the Pegasus brakes. They're hard to get now in my local shop. They actually stopped carrying the aftermarket stuff. And I made a set with the post, and then I took the post off depending upon what kind of wheel we were going to use, We got that, and then here's another style of mold. This right here is the back of the Pegasus. I'm already buying the Pegasus wheels. So right here I took the back cap of the Pegasus wheel, and I did the same thing with it. I put the tape in there, and you can make a little mold, and that way, that way I have a little mold now. So you got to find stuff that you can use over and over and over again. You got to find stuff that you use that's worth casting. And you can see, I got intercoolers, small amps, my tweeters for my components. They just, so you find stationary boxes. I know you see Sheldon build his own box. There's a few other people that have built their own boxes. I hated the fact of trying to use Legos, and then when I come back, my mold has leaked out, you know what I mean? And so I think I have it filled up, but by the time it starts leaking, I'm not getting enough top coverage, and some of my parts, don't hold their shape too well. Well, guys, thanks for following me today. Thanks for joining the live show. I hope this helps you guys when it comes to casting, if you choose to cast. You guys have a great day, and this is Minnie, and I'm out. I'll talk to you later. Yeah, just pick up, you just gotta find some things, Jay, when you're going about your day, or, use the stuff that's already in your room. Don't go out and spend a whole lot, because my thinking is the reason why I'm recasting this stuff is because it's stuff I like to use. I've already purchased it. If I can take $40 and make as many copies as I need versus having to make the order, happen to wait for the guy to finish all the orders and then come to me. It's more about consistency and convenience, because like here on my speakers, there's no need for me to have all these speakers right now. You know, let's be honest. I can't put all those to use right now. But I've already opened up my resin. I know down the road I'll use these speakers. So if I'm going to pull all my resin stuff out, make my bench a mess, I just try to use, once I open up the resin, I'm going through it. I opened up the resin today to pour Pete Gritty, one of my good friends, some disc brakes for some builds that he's doing. So I use up the resin. The resin will go bad. It's only got about a 6-month shelf life, but the fresher the resin, the better the quality of your pieces. So I usually just flood them out, and then what I do is I just get all the molds I make. I just get all the molds that I've made, and I just start filling them up. Like I said, I got amps, motor parts, tons of motor parts. I'm a big lowrider builder when I get in the phase of building lowriders. So, I make me a couple hundred pumps, a bunch of batteries. Here, matter of fact, here's my battery mold right here. I make triples, tens, inlines, an inline for 4 of them, depending upon what kind of system I'm putting in. This right here would be for like the dancing hopper stuff. This right here would be more for show, more for street cruising, you know what I mean, stuff like that. And this right here would be from the Revell 60 Impala lowrider, the Revell El Camino lowrider from back in the day, the Revell 63 Impala lowrider, and from the Revell Cadillac lowrider.
And what's up? Now what's up?
Yeah, George, no problem, bud. You guys are great. I just want to be able to help you guys get the most out of your hobby. And like I said, none of this stuff is for sale. You can go to CVG Resin on Facebook. They also have a web page. You guys can go to Extreme Scale Detail, check out the resin he offers. Some of the stuff that I have copied was from ScaleDreams.com, no longer in business. Rick Swartz shut that down, and he sold off a lot of stuff. I still choose not to make this a business for me, because I am guilty of copying other people's stuff that I enjoy to use. So go out there and check. You guys can purchase this stuff from ProTech, from Extreme Scale Detail, CVG Resin. Get up on eBay. You can check out some of the resin stuff they sell on eBay. You guys, we got Hobby Design. We got Studio 27. You have to pick and choose what you want to spend your money on, and then what's most important to you when you go to wanting to recast it for your own use. Guys, I'm stressing this enough. This is for my own use. None of this is for sale. I do give it away sometimes, and I have made trades for it, but I really do not want to sell none of this. I really do not want to take any business away from the companies that I have copied from, other than what I copy for myself. So that's just something I choose to do for me and for my bench. At one time, I've made the purchase to get the supplies, and I've just subconsciously casted it for personal use, not for profit. So you guys got to be willing to shovel out the money to spend $20 on the motor, and then $20 on resin, and then $20 on mold in order to do what I'm doing now. So that's, it's not cheap to do what I do. I have purchased the products from the customers. It wasn't like we totally stole their design and was trying to profit from it. I'm just copied it so I have more, and I don't have to wait for nobody but myself, if you guys understand that. So, you guys have a great day. Yeah, and then, Jay, I did that, and then I sanded off the backside, so I can, I set it off the back side, made one side flat, so that way it could mount to the either to the body or to the wheel. You know, some wheels have a post coming out, some of them don't have no post at all. Our good friend Steve Zimmerman, all his wheels on the back side are flat, so I used the ones with the post to give it some distance, you know. So I give it some distance because I can't put a wheel without a post right on to Steve's wheel. It wouldn't look right. So we have some where the posts already come out, like your Fujimi Aeroshimis, the ones that have the poly caps, you know, that you poke in there. That's what these right here would be for. These right here are the big brakes from Pegasus. These two right here are the regular brakes from Pegasus. And then, you know, so that way you get the distance on them. Let me see. Here's a copy of one. This right here is a Micro Nitro wheel with the brake in the background, and you can see it has the post, because like the Micro Nitros, if you're not getting them for the slot cars, they won't have a post. It's just a flat piece of aluminum, and so I made the resin brake to go behind that, if you guys can't see that.
Jerry! I wasn't trying to.
You know, so here is the brake. I don't like the gold, but this is all the gold that they had left in the thing. So what I did is just cut one side smooth, like sanded it smooth, and then just copied the other side, so that way I at least have that detail. I've mentioned it before, I'm not your best builder out there. I'm not the best guy actually to learn from. I'm just showing you and sharing with you guys what I enjoy to do and what I enjoy to use. So take that into retrospect too. Don't go getting yourself in trouble. If you're copying something, my main intentions on the CVG resin motor was to fix one problem that I got when I purchased the model, or purchased the motor, and to fix the problem I caused by trying to work with what I had. So then I just recasted the whole thing. I was pissed off, you know. Here it is. I got $18 in the motor, $5.50 when I bought the motor for shipping, and you know, it's just, I was kicking myself in the nads because basically I was making myself a useless motor. But I took the good parts that I did have, molded stuff up, and then just made me another mold of the whole motor. It is a good looking motor. It is worth the money from CVG resin. So get over there, check that out. And you guys notice I don't have nothing on my bench that Sheldon copies, because you guys can get that. Sheldon's product is $1 on some stuff, so it's cheap enough to buy when needed. Sheldon usually makes a big enough stock to keep Extreme stocked up. So, you know, I do support the hobby by purchasing the items, and I do shortcut the hobby by casting it for myself. So I don't want to see nobody get in trouble by trying to make a business out of copying someone else's stuff, because Sheldon puts good hours into producing items for us to buy. CVG resin does the same. Like I said, I've only copied the one motor to fix what was wrong with what I had, and you never see me advertise anything. I don't believe in that. So you guys have a great day. I'm going to be out of here, and hope you guys have a great day of modeling. Thank you all for joining me today and hanging out. Thank you.